Welcome back to the Paranormal Review. Today, I have a very, very interesting video to review, and this video is called Bigfoot in Provo, description sighting in Provo, Utah, January 2nd, 2019. Okay, before we begin, I'm going to show you a video of a frog jumping into a pond. There's a few different interesting things about this video, so make sure you do not tune out at all during this whole video. You have to watch the whole thing to get the content, okay? So, first of all, they see this Bigfoot creature apparently on January 2nd, okay? They go do a follow-up video January 6th. So on the 6th, they go up there and they do their own investigation. Very good job, guys. I really appreciate that. Hardly anybody actually does that. So Austin M. Craig, or whoever you are, good job. Appreciate that. Does this really good? That does really good for us as reviewers to know that you actually went up there and actually tried to find what was going on, even though it was 4 days later. On the 4th, Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization goes up there and does their own research as well. Okay, now there's a couple interesting things, because when Rocky Mountain gets up there on the 4th, there's already footprints in the area of the Sasquatch. So does that mean that that was actually the footprints of a human and it's not Sasquatch? I was thinking maybe it was their investigation, but their investigation is apparently 2 days after Rocky Mountains. So who knows? Let's get started. All right. The one thing that's also, real quick before we begin, interesting about this is this footage is in Provo, and I would actually go do my own research there on site like I usually do. However, I am in California right now, and I am not in Utah, so I'm not able to get out there and do my own research, okay? But the other thing that's interesting is Provo Canyon, Bigfoot. Remember, like 5, 6, 7 years ago, they went huge in Provo Canyon. And then also the Provo Rock Thrower, I think it was called, Bigfoot, around that same time period, is just up the hill from this area. So that's an interesting thing, because if there is Bigfoot, maybe it's coming down the hill because it's too cold or something. Let's get started.
I gotta leave first, but one. I'm gonna get. You can. No, you'll be fine.
All right, so the creature is up here.
To the Sasquatch.
I don't like how he automatically just assumes it's a Sasquatch, right? It's far enough away that he could probably be like, hey, maybe it's just a person.
Big it is. He's just chilling. I'm gonna get.
Okay,
no, you'll be fine.
I zoom in on it here
Get
so
more
you
footage
can
of the
see it better.
Sasquatch.
It is fairly large, right?
He seriously, look how big it is. He's just chilling.
It's a fairly large creature. Okay? That's one thing that you do notice. It is pretty big, but
I think it's a Sasquatch. Because look, he's on the
one thing I wish they would have done in their research.
On the mountain.
One thing I wish they would have done in their research is maybe go find a tree up here and measure the tree. That way we could get a better size comparison, right?
But look how huge he is. Okay, so now we drove way down the hill.
All right, so instead of getting closer, they drive farther away and they look at it again. Maybe they were going somewhere and they didn't have time, so they're just driving down the hill. Hey, let's look at overhead just to see if it's still there. I don't know. This seems like if you see something like that right then, I would maybe skip your movie and go look for the Bigfoot, but you know, who knows?
And look how big that person still is, all the way up on that mountain. Way the hell up there. You can see them right there. Right there. He's sitting on a rock. He's huge.
All right, the other thing I don't like about this is that they somehow know that he's sitting on a rock, right? They're this far away, and they're like, hey, look, he's sitting on a rock. He's huge. But how do they know he's sitting on a rock? Maybe he's sitting on a tree, not maybe sitting on the ground, but sitting on a rock is kind of specific, so maybe they know something. I don't know.
I mean, we are really far away right now. You can see the top of that mountain. It's humongous. It's that black thing right over that second peak of that house. It's just standing there, but he's huge. You can see from here even. With my own eyes, I can see him perfectly.
Yeah. It didn't take that long to find him.
No, not at all. It's crazy. So we're going to go investigate and see if we
All right, so this is the guy right here that I'm assuming filmed it, because later on he explains that he's taking a shot with his phone, and these two guys are going to go up and film it, okay? I think this is on his YouTube channel, though. All right, I have to give you guys props because normally people don't go actually do investigations. So great job, guys. I really appreciate that. Adds a lot of credibility to your story.
You can find like footprints. I keep saying the suspect because I feel silly saying the Sasquatch because we don't know if it was the Sasquatch.
All right, I really like that they're kind of a little more humble about it. They're like, we're not sure what it is. We're gonna go find out instead of just like, hey, it's for sure a Sasquatch, right? The number one key in all Sasquatch hoaxes is that the first thing they see it has to be a Sasquatch. It can't be a bear. It can't be a guy hiking. It has to be a Sasquatch. These guys are now from the beginning. Now they're like, hey, maybe it wasn't a Sasquatch, right?
Probably wasn't, but we're going to go find out. Whatever it was that was climbing up here, we've concluded that it was a very nimble giant because it's not easy to climb this very steep, snowy mountain.
It's very steep up here.
Yeah, it's really steep. Lots of snow. Not a lot of...
All right, guys. So both them and the Rocky Mountain Sasquatch, they both, during this investigation, note how steep and how slippery and snowy this mountain is. And Rocky Mountain Sasquatch, more so, emphasizes multiple times this is the only way to get to this location, okay? Now, real quick, I'm going to exit this video quick and show you a couple things, okay? There are many trails around here. You can actually see over here, there's a really well-defined trail. Okay, and that goes all around the whole entire lake. There's a thing called the Bonneville Shoreline Trail. The actual Bonneville Shoreline Trail goes all the way around the whole entire lake, like where the lake used to be. Okay, it goes from here and it's all the way into Salt Lake County. Okay, so it's a huge trail. Okay, but you can see it right here. Goes along the edge right here, and it goes up into the mountains a little bit, quite a bit up on the ridges. Okay, but not only that, not only do you have that, but you also have all these other trails. Okay, they go up into the hills, and it's not like there's no other way to get there. I'll show you kind of a thing right here. Okay, so the actual spot where this was filmed is, from what I can see, right. There's a house down here that they show in part of their investigation is right up here on this little peak right here. Okay, I got a couple or better shots of it. Okay, that's different view I'm going to come back to later. Here, right here. Okay, so let's just look from an aerial view of that hill, and you can see that there's some little trail right here behind it. The trail I just showed you is this one over here that goes along the ridge, right? The one that you can see in his actual video is right over here, or it could be any one of these right here, but you can see maybe it's down right there, pretty clear, right? But if you zoom in on this hill, you can clearly see right up here. There's a lot of different trails that come up through this area. Okay, right here, right? Look, there's some switchbacks right there. There's a clear trail right up here, right? That makes its way around. Okay, so I don't know. I'm just trying to make the point that the only way to get there is not to hike up a straight cliff up here. There are ways. There's a trail that comes back through here. You can clearly see. And they could be hiking right down through here or something like that, okay? So that is clearly not the only way to get to that location. Let's continue the video.
Firm footholds or handholds.
No. But they just seem to be like waltzing through.
Yeah. The video we saw, somebody was just traipsing on up.
I don't think it is a human. I think it's a Sasquatch.
I mean, they sound decently honest to me. I
don't think it is a human.
This is one of those videos where I don't have a lot of doubts about their
And
character.
This right here, which I presume is where a deer laid down.
Right, so they're kind of finding some mysterious stuff or some footprints.
In this business,
Yeah, it's crazy.
So who knows?
Almost looks like somebody was dragging.
All right, so this is
something
kind of
up or
interesting,
down the
okay? And
mountain.
this kind of gives me a little bit of a theory, and I'm not sure if I'm correct. I could be
Chris?
completely wrong.
Okay.
But right here, they're explaining that it looks like there's something that's been dragged through the snow, okay? Now, if you've hiked up this hill, and it's a steep hill, no handholds, like they were explaining earlier, what's the easiest way to get down the hill? Maybe you didn't come from this direction, maybe you came from a different direction, right? The easiest way to get down is probably to get on your behind and scoot your way down the hill. And that's exactly what that looks like to me, okay? I mean, you maybe put your hands on the side of you right here, and like hand, or maybe those are deer prints, I don't know, I can't tell. All right, so my theory is that maybe they parked in a parking lot like this or something. I don't know. Hiked up here, hit one of these trails, right? See this trail here? It's well defined. It's not, like controversial. They hit this trail, come along here, make their way down through some this area, and they end up on this little part of a bump right here, right? Which is where this, where I can tell that little bump is, right? It's right there. So they end up right there, and like, hey, it's too cold. We don't want to go through all the snow to get back in here, especially in this little crevice here. It might be, a little valley might be a little bit too deep. Let's just make our way down here, get to the road, and call our friends to come pick us up, and then we'll get to our car over there. So maybe they got up here and decided, hey, we'll just scoot our way down the hill and get out. I don't know. I'm not sure if that's what happened, but that is a possible scenario.
Next to Chris, you will see.
Don't leave, you guys. I have some really interesting stuff coming up.
And it's slick.
Right.
Like
So it's been there a couple days.
something was.
This is on the 6th. So whatever was up there has had 4 days to get
what we
there.
were hoping
Right.
for, but we found what are unmistakably human boot prints. Too bad. Let me show you.
Okay. One thing is, this is 2 days after Rocky Mountain Sasquatch has been there. That could be a Rocky Mountain Sasquatch boot print.
That is exactly
Again, you can see the trails back here.
The quote-unquote Sasquatch. And
Now this gives it a lot more credibility.
put together aren't even as close.
Right now, he's telling them that they're in the same spot as the original Bigfoot, and they're not even close to the sizes that they are, right? Now, this is going to give it a lot of credibility. Let me show you why in a second.
To as wide or as tall as it was.
All right, so this is the original Bigfoot sighting. This is them doing the research, okay? If you can notice these 2 trees here. Now, in this video, they're right in the center of this tree, okay? But in this video, the tree is clearly not in the same position, right? You can tell that this mountain's is in this angle here, whereas this angle here, the Bigfoot is over here somewhere more so over here in this direction, and quite a bit higher. I would say probably up on this ridge up here more, right? It's just not the same angle as this tree right here, okay? So the reason why is because it's so much credibility to me is if they were hoaxing this and they did it on purpose, they put one of their friends up there in a Bigfoot suit and then they were going to review it later, is this guy right here would know exactly where to stand. He would be in that same exact position, but instead they're a good 20 to 30 feet or maybe farther away from the actual location that they wanted to be in. So in my opinion, I don't think this is a hoax. They might have misidentified something if it isn't Bigfoot, but it just goes to show that they didn't do it themselves. Otherwise, this person here would be exactly where that Bigfoot is. Hope that makes sense. See, they even know right there they didn't reach the necessary height, right? Okay. So Rocky Mountain Sasquatch organization found a rock up there that was pulled out from here after it had snowed. If this had been before it snowed, if this had been pulled out before it snowed, the snow would be covering this area, right? So one of the things I'm thinking is maybe someone's up there, I don't know, for whatever reason, pulling these rocks off the hill. I don't know. It's not like a great theory, but like it could be just someone collecting rocks or whatever for some reason for their yard work. I have no idea. Who knows? But why would this be pulled off of here? Maybe a Bigfoot pulled it off. I don't know. What do you guys think? Would someone be up there? Maybe they hid something behind the rock right here and they were coming up to retrieve it. Who knows? It looks like they pulled the rock away and some snow fell in between there. I do not know, guys. All right, so this is the most interesting part of this whole thing. I'm going to come back here to our Google Earth. All right, so this is where this happened, right? Is in this area right here. Right on that little bumper there is where the Sasquatch is, okay? Now, Provo Canyon Bigfoot and Bigfoot Thrower. Also, Tupelo Fork Bigfoot happened. That one video that is interesting as well is over the top of this mountain over here. So there has been some Bigfoot activity in this area. So one thing I want to ask you guys is are there Bigfoots back in here? Okay, there's been a lot of activity. Is there Bigfoots in there? If there are Bigfoots in there, why are they coming down here so close to civilization? Okay, now the Provo Canyon Bigfoot, I've never got an actual location as to where it happened, but it's somewhere back in here. Okay, it could be back further in there. I have no idea. I know there's a Sundance Resort with lots of trees and forest area up there as well, back in here. But somewhere up in here is where both those happened, and not so far away, another sighting. So are Sasquatches coming down the mountains because it's too cold? Is there too much snow back there? Not enough food supply? Not enough water? There's plenty of water, obviously, because there's snow. But, if they were coming for water, they'd probably just go to the river. There's a river right here. Or Deer Creek back here. It's a lot less civilization around that lake than other lakes down in this area where the lakes are surrounded by cities. So that is really interesting to me, guys. Is this a Bigfoot, or was it just a misidentification? What are you guys' theories, guys? Leave me comments. Like and share this video as much as you can. I'm really curious about this one because of the history of the proximity to other Bigfoot sightings. Okay. One more thing. One thing that I also want to talk about is there's only 3 videos on this guy's YouTube. Okay, which in some ways takes away the credibility, but at the same time, if you go to his About page, this YouTube page was created in 2008, almost 10 years ago exactly. Okay. Which tells me that they didn't just go to view this thing or make this thing and then decide, hey, let's make a YouTube channel and throw it up. They've had this channel for a long time. That doesn't mean it's for sure real, but they have had it for a long time, so who knows, right? It wasn't just created on the whim of, hey, let's make a hoax and then put it up. Went to this guy's website. He does a lot of video work. He has worked on like 5 or 6 different YouTube channels. And so I'm not sure if being a video worker gives him less credibility or more credibility. But he has helped other channels rank up and get more views and become successful. So he definitely knows what he's doing. I like this group of friends, whoever these people are. They did the work. They went in and they actually did some investigation. Whether or not it is a Bigfoot, I don't know. They couldn't confirm anything. They found some footprints. Rocky Mountain Sasquatch thinks they found a Bigfoot footprint. However, I have showed you guys how forensically footprints can and do change especially when it's in the snow, where that snow melts, becomes larger, becomes a little bit deformed, and how abnormal marks in a footprint get magnified when you actually melt the snow around them. And then not to mention that there might be more snow falling on the footprint, messing up things as well. So is it really a Bigfoot footprint? I don't know. In my opinion, I don't think there's enough to say, hey, this is for sure a Bigfoot, but there's not enough evidence to really to debunk it either. So what do you guys think? Please subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys later.